What's up, fighting fans? Tips from the Fight IQ channel. Today we're coming back for another episode of the Fight IQ show. It's the first of the year and I'm excited to be back. I hope that you all had a good closing of the year and that you're ready for more action. But this week we will only do a preview from the coming matchups. Indeed, there was not much action during the beginning of the year and this weekend will be the first with high-level fights. And I'm gonna make it easy for you by ranking the top 5 fights that you shouldn't miss. So let's get ready to rumble! So for this weekend on the menu we have the One Fight Night 18 in the Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok on Friday 12th, the LFA 174 in Prior Lake, Minnesota on Friday 12th, the UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas Saturday 13th, and the Beterbiev vs Smith boxing card in Quebec City Saturday 13th. Number 5, Jacoby Jones vs Gennrich. That's the main event of the LFA 174 in Prior Lake, Minnesota on Friday 12th, and it will be for the lightweight championship. It's an interesting matchup to open the weekend. Let's talk first about the defending champ. Jacoby Jones, 27 years old, is 6-2 with 4 finishes. He's a pure product from the LFA. He started his pro career there in 2021. He conquered the vacant lightweight championship last May versus Lebos Noyani after stopping him in the second round. More recently, he lost a great battle during the Dana White Contender Series versus Daniel James Allen in September, so let's see how he will bounce back from that one. And for his first title defense, he will face Gennrich. Gennrich is 30 years old, 7-2, 4 finishes. He's a really good wrestler and grappler. He has 3 wins via submission. He's on a 5 fights win streak, including 4 by LFA. He won his last fight in September via submission versus Donald Bosch. I think that's a great challenge for both fighters, but I would give an edge to the defending champ. I think he's more complete. He wants to move on from his last fight and get closer to the UFC. So let's say Jones via KO. Number 4, Christian Mbilli vs Rohan Murdock. Co-main event of the Beterbiev vs Smith boxing card in Quebec City on Saturday 13th. It will be for the WBC Continental America Super Middleweight title. I think it's an interesting fight between 2 great punchers having a lot of volume of striking. First we have Christian Mbilli, 28 years old, 25-0, 21 knockouts. Mbilli is constantly improving. Any of his appearances show his progress. Recently, he beat Damon Nicholson in a spectacular fashion, knocking him out in the 4th round after dropping bombs on him the entirety of the fight. To keep his streak going, he will have to face Rohan Murdock. The Aussie is 31 years old, 27-2, 19 wins by way of knockout. He's a powerful puncher. He likes to put his opponent in the ropes. He comes out a win over Isaac Hardman by split decision. Both boxers have similarities in their game, so it will come to the level of skills and the durability. That's why I'm going with Mbilli on that one. I think he fought tougher opposition more regularly and won all the time without a doubt. Also, I don't see Murdock being able to put Mbilli in the ropes and don't think he has the power to knock him out. So let's say Mbilli via KO around the 5th round. Number 3, Ricky Simon vs Mario Bautista. Main card of the UFC Fight Night Saturday 13th in Las Vegas. I love this one. It's 2 tough, experienced and highly skilled bantamweights. Simon is 31 years old, 20-4 with 10 finishes. He's at the UFC since 2018 with a record of 8-3 there with 4 finishes. He fought some of the best in the world: Merab Dvalishvili, Uriah Faber, Rob Font, Hassan Sang, Jack Shore, and more recently Song Yadong, against who he lost via TKO in the 5th round after an amazing fight. To bounce back and to keep his number 13 in the UFC rankings, he will have to face Mario Bautista. Bautista is 30 years old, 13-2 with 9 finishes. He entered the UFC in 2019 where he is 7-2 with 4 finishes. He fought some tough guys. He lost versus Sandhagen in his first UFC appearance, then he KO'd Miles Jones, submitted Brian Kelleher, Guido Canetti, and last August he beat Damon Blackshear via decision, concluding an ongoing 5 fights win streak. I think it's really difficult to say who will get that one. I have the feeling that Simon fought and beat tougher opposition in his career, so I'll go with him. But I expect a war and a fight going to the distance. Number 2, Magomed Ankalaev vs Johnny Walker. Main event of the UFC Fight Night that will be in Las Vegas on Saturday 13th. And finally we get to see it. The first fight ended in a no contest after an illegal knee from Ankalaev. After that, we got some trash talk from both guys, which is a bit unusual from both of them, maybe to relaunch the hype a little bit. When I first previewed this fight in October, I mentioned both resumes and finished by saying I'd side with Walker. And I still get the same feeling, reinforced by some images we saw recently from Walker. He's looking in the best shape he ever was. Also, from the glimpses we saw from the first fight, Walker seemed to be capable of causing some issues to Ankalaev. I expect fireworks in these fights, both wanting to show their skills, Walker wanting to demonstrate his capability to get to the higher level, and Ankalaev wanting to show he's not the boring fighter some people say he is, and that he still can grab that light heavyweight gold. And number 1, Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. Main event of the boxing card with the same name, Saturday 13th in Quebec City. It's for the IBF, WBC and WBO World Light Heavyweight titles. The cherry on the cake to our weekend. The best light heavyweight on the planet versus a tough and underrated British boxer. First, the defending champ. Beterbiev is 38 years old. He's 19-0, 19 wins by both knockouts. He captured the IBF title back in 2017, knocking out Enrico Cooling in the 12th round. Then he went on his quest to grab all the belts. First the WBC gold in 2019 versus Gvozdyk, and finally the WBO title in 2022 with an astonishing KO over Joe Smith Jr. in the second round. Recently he defended his belts against Anthony Yarde, who is stopped in the 8th round. Beterbiev is known for his devastating power, his relentlessness, and his mastering of the close-range boxing. And he will now face Callum Smith. Mundo is 33 years old, 29-1, 21 wins by way of knockouts. Smith is a really tall and long fighter. He knows how to use his reach. He has powerful counter punches and he has a big volume of striking. He captured the WBA gold in super middleweight, the weight class below, in 2019 by knocking out Hassan Endam in the 3rd round. After that, he beat John Ryder by unanimous decision and then lost a hard battle versus Canelo Alvarez. He then moved up from weight class in 2021, beating Gilbert Castillo Rivera by knockout in the 2nd, and then in August from 2022, he knocked out Mathieu Bodolik in the 4th. It's a really exciting matchup, so let's see if Smith can keep Beterbiev at distance and find openings. I will still go with Beterbiev on this one. I think it's hard to match his intensity and to resist his power. I think he will knock Smith out in the last rounds for an epic finish. I think there are some other fights that are worth your attention. First, at the UFC, there will be Mateus Nicolau versus Manel Kape, Basharat versus Lapillus, and Tom Nolan versus Nicolas Motta. Also, at One Fight Night 18, keep an eye on Shamil Gazanov versus Ho Tek Ho, and Belak versus Batarku. So that's it for the first episode of the year. Once again, I'm really glad to be back and I hope you guys too. If you enjoyed that video, please give a hard punch to those like and subscribe buttons, especially the last one, if you don't want to miss any new releases. And this year we will have some new contents, but I will explain that to you in another video. Also, give me in the comments some picks for the coming matchups. Enjoy the fights, I'll see you next week.
Second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate.